What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, as you can see on your screen, we're going to talk about a lot of Luffy cards, but not just Luffy cards. We're going to be looking at the top 20 non-mangas in One Piece. This video is inspired by the fact that I did the spreadsheet update today on the top 20 non-manga cards in One Piece, and there are some interesting ones that I do want to point out to you guys and talk about a little bit. And then also, outside of the top 20 cards, there are some interesting movers that we will take a look at. But there are a couple things I want to get to first. One being Romance Dawn white bottom booster boxes. If you look on TCG Player, the most recent 5 boxes to move were all at essentially $1,000 USD. I don't think it's much of a stretch at this point to call this a $1,000 booster box. And I think just with time, it's going to continue moving up. So that was the first thing to point out. The second thing, some of you guys know this, some of you don't. I do run another channel. My main channel is Poke Profit. I talk about investing in Pokemon, and at the rate it's going to be the secondary channel eventually. But I put out a video a couple hours ago at this point. It's titled, I'm Starting an Impossible Investment Journey or Investing Journey. And the idea is that I'm going to turn this into a monthly series. I'm going to upload a video basically every month. The goal is to eventually get to $1 million in my TCG portfolio. Currently, I have about $225,000 of value in all the product I own. I do have some stuff in the mail. So based on what I have currently, 223 with what's in the mail, an OP13K, some other Black Bolt ETBs, it's going to be a little bit over 225. I think realistically, it's going to take me about a decade to complete this if I do end up completing it. One thing I want to do during this period of time in my 30s is to try and get the percentage of my net worth in TCGs below 10%. I don't know how realistic that's going to be if I want to have $1 million in product. So I might eventually change the rules of this to include current product and then also potential profits I make along the way. But basically, I did a video talking about all the product I own in Pokemon and also in One Piece. So if you guys are interested in knowing exactly what I have currently, you can go check out that video. I'm going to do a monthly update on the 20th of every month, hopefully moving forward. So I just figured I would throw that in there and shout out to you guys if you do support the main channel. Now, getting into today's video, we're going to start off with the Ichiro stamped Luffy. This card is definitely coming down in price. When we look at the PSA 10s, I think they're $5,500, maybe $6,000 now. At one point, they were pushing like $9,000, $10,000. 3 recent sales in November, 4,000 US, 3,700 US, and 3,500, the most recent sale from yesterday. However, when you look at the graph, it says it's up 24% on the month. So TCG Player, when there's not a ton of sales, the graph tends to move very slowly. I wouldn't be surprised if this is still trending upwards for the next like 2 to 3 months, even though recent sales are lower than prior ones. So just know that when you are looking at TCG Player, and especially when you're looking at a card that doesn't sell super often. I still think it's a great card. I just don't know if it's the best investment currently, but it is one based on the graph that has technically moved up over the past 28 days. The Nami is one that's more realistically moving up. This is sitting around $438 on TCG Player. That's about a 17% increase over the past 28 days. And recent sales from the 14th and 15th, all over $500 USD. I did say way back in the day that the OP09 SPs, the Nami and the Boa Hancock, which we're going to talk about next, I think these are the better SPs compared to like the 05 Nami and the 04 Boa Hancock. I think the artwork's just a little bit better. I think the colors in the background and everything, it blends perfectly in my opinion. And that's why these are very desirable cards. They move fairly well. There's a decent amount of sales on a monthly basis. After that, this is going to be, I believe, the final card in the top 20 that I wanted to bring up. This alternate art Luffy, the leader from Romance Dawn. I almost said pre-errata, but this is just the regular version. We're up to around $356 on TCG Player. If you come in here and look at recent sales, however, everything over $400 from the past couple days, even up to almost $500 USD. To me, it does seem like this card is trending upwards, but a lot of these sales to me also kind of scream buyout or attempted buyout. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next few sales are back around like $350, $375. Still a really cool card though. I just don't think that it's up to $500. That's not really a realistic number to put on market. Maybe I'll be proven wrong in the future. Now, the Luffy Wanted poster from OP09, this was actually in the top 20 last month. However, this month, I believe there's 9 cards from OP13 that now crack the top 20 that aren't manga cards. It's ridiculously deep, guys. If you don't have OP13 yet, I don't know what you're doing. Definitely get some exposure to that. But this Luffy still rising. We're up around 19% on the month, and that's a $317 evaluation. But if you come in here and look at recent sales, $335, $380 actually from yesterday, $375, a couple before that in the 320. So maybe this is like $350 at this point. Keep an eye on this Wanted poster. I think we have a couple more Luffys to look at. The alternate art from EBO2, I love this card. I think it's great. I know it's an alternate art and not like a special rare or anything, so maybe that's why it doesn't have as much value as it would. But this is still like a $300 card. I think it was at around $280 a month ago. And recent sales, you're actually getting closer to like $320 from the past couple days. And I think it's probably going to stay in this range. I would not be surprised. I don't think this has anything to do with meta relevance. I think this is just a card that collectors want. But if this card is used in the TCG and it's seen an increased level of frequency, let me know in the comments down below, because I know some of you guys do follow the meta a lot closer than I do. That's obvious. So if that's the case, definitely feel free to leave a comment down below and educate us. And then the final Luffy I wanted to bring up here. This is the Wanted poster from OPO3. It's up around 12% on the month, around $195. If you come in here and look though, we had sales up to around 240 early November. So I do think we're on a downtrend here. Recent sales, you're around $185, $180 almost. So maybe it's going to continue going down into the 170s. We'll have to wait and see. A couple more cards here. The Zoro alt art leader from Romance Dawn. This is up to around $270. Not a huge price difference, about 1%. But if you come in here and look at recent sales, realistically, we're at about $300 based on the past couple days. Keep an eye on this. Maybe we find a new level around $300. The Jewelry Bonnie SP from OPO8, this one's been doing decently. We're up to around $135. But again, interesting sales recently. From today, actually, 150, 4 at 150, 1 at 160. And you do have a couple cheaper sales here, one at 129 near mint, and a light plate at 126. I think this could go either way. You could potentially see this drop back down to around 130s, but maybe there will be a little bit more strength here and we see it push towards $150. And just a few more SPs I do want to show you guys. The Edward Newgate, the Whitebeard. You guys know this is one of my favorite cards in all of One Piece. I think it's amazing. It does seem to kind of level out over the past couple weeks in this 120, 125 range. And I think when you look at recent sales, it might even be a little bit lower than this. You have some here at like 110, some around 125, but I'd say it's balanced out at this point. I still think in the future, there's potential for this to be like a $200+ card. I just think it's really great. And once people come to appreciate the different styles of SPs, we have more people come to the hobby. I think that's entirely possible, but maybe I'm just coping because I really don't like the SP styles for some of these cards where they just copy and paste the same artwork every set and then change the texture in the background. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just delusional at this point. Couple more here. The Portgas DAs, and honestly, I probably am delusional at this point. It's like almost midnight, so I need to get to bed. Portgas DAs here from Two Legends. This is up to around $122. Recent sales, though, this is why I threw this in here. Very interesting. The 17th, $200 sale. The 18th, a $200 sale. And then one today at 230 USD. This is only a few data points, so it's nothing crazy, but I would keep an eye on this card over the next week or two just to see what happens. It looks like Nostalgia Daily, who normally has like fairly overpriced cards, they're sitting around $250 currently. There's no other listings on TCG Player. If we see a few more sales at this like 200 to 230 range on this card, it could start affecting sales on other platforms like eBay, which could potentially just raise the baseline on the market price. The Yamato as well from OPO5, I did want to throw this in here, up around 15% over the past month, sitting around $107. Recent sales over the past week or so, maybe 2 weeks at this point, a lot of them closer to like $125, $130, up to almost $139 at its peak. So not the most expensive SP, but again, just another one that's moving up and has a little bit more demand than it did back in the summer. And one more SP that's rising to show you guys in this video, the Charlotte Pudding from Two Legends, up around 34% over the past month. This makes sense. I think it's a great artwork. It was probably undervalued around 50 bucks. Maybe there's some TCG relevance to this in the meta. I don't know. Again, comments down below if true. But you can see here, recent sales, $75 all day, every day, up to around 105 actually at its peak. But I think the majority are in like that 70, 75 range. But not every card, guys, is doing great. For example, the Vegapunk, we're down around 6.5% over the past month. This was up to almost $350 on TCG Player. A recent sale from yesterday, $317, but before that, $250. It just doesn't sell super often. TCG Player, probably a little bit more on eBay, but even on eBay, you don't see a ton of these moving. It is going to be one of those more difficult cards in the future to sell. It's an error card. Not everybody collects error cards. I don't think everybody collects Vegapunk cards. And that's why you don't want to make it a huge part of your portfolio, but if you want to put maybe a couple percentage points towards error cards and obscure things like this, I think it's fine. And a couple more SPs here before we end the video that aren't doing great. The Buggy, it pains me to see this card go down. I love this card so much. I feel like it doesn't get the appreciation it deserves. It's sitting around $70 currently, down around 13% over the past 28 days, and a lot of recent sales in that $65 range. And then finally, the Trafalgar Law alternate art leader from Romance Dawn. This is down around 5% over the past month, and this has been falling for the better portion of this year, down about 20% since early May. But that is going to be it for the video, guys. I think the takeaway from this is that a lot of the top cards, like if we go over here to the Luffy's and the Namis, these are starting to level out. I think a lot of the value gain in the short term has already been chewed up, but maybe some of these lower tier SPs, there still might be some short-term play on them. I mean, someone's trying really hard with this ace currently. But if you want my advice, I'd say just be really cautious right now. I think there's going to be lots of opportunities opening up in 2026, especially if shit hits the fan with global markets. That's just my opinion. Remember, there is a ton of upside to investing in TCGs, but there also is a lot of risk. So you have to make sure you have a balanced portfolio. You don't overextend yourself. You do things by the book, you're smart about it, and if you do all that, you're probably going to succeed in the long run. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you are planning to shop eBay TCG Player Hobbiesville, I do have affiliate links down below. They're free and easy to use. All you have to do is click on it before you do your shopping. I'll get a small percentage of the sale at no extra cost to you. So it's a free and easy way to support the channel. Also, if you guys are curious again to know exactly what I own in my TCG portfolio, definitely feel free to go watch this video I just put up. I will link it in the description down below. Again, stay safe wherever you guys are in the world. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.